From the art of the deal to keeping it real. Live from the Simply Vegas studios, it's The Power Move with John Gafford.
Back again.
Whoop.
Colt.
Another one.
You're not, it's mid-afternoon, you're not saucing.
No, I haven't ate today. So
Shameful.
even like one drink would probably make it so I shouldn't drive. So
We're trying to get ratings here, buddy. That'd be a solid show.
Trust
Yeah, you
me.
sauce-
I
you
don't
sauce
need
stuff
to
as
be sauced up
every
to make
Nielsen-
something stupid.
Every Nielsen
Sauce
rating
stuff.
on earth.
Well, I'm just glad.
Shatter records.
I'm just glad you're here, buddy. And as always,
I appreciate it.
Chris Connell, Esquire. Chris,
How you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. Doing good. Welcome back for this is going to be our Friday episode this week. Glad to be back in a regular rotation. Had a little bit of a drop off there because of obviously the Egypt trip, which we already unpacked on the last episode. Not going to rehash that again because, man, there's a lot going on. A lot of things coming up. And I got to tell you, obviously Halloween is the biggie coming up now. And while I was in Disneyland last week, I want to talk this a little bit about, but let's talk about what's offensive because there's a lot of things going on. I mean, I want to have a whole episode on what is offensive because it seems like the goalposts move constantly. And I think I just want to help everybody listening narrow the goalpost to what's offensive. Now, granted, you're going to get a pretty, I think Colt's goalpost is probably in a different place than maybe yours or even mine.
Dave Chappelle just dropped his. You want to talk about a viper's nest of offensive and how it's being
portrayed out there.
viewed right now.
Yeah.
We'll talk about.
We'll talk about that. But I want to start with this because it is obviously it's Halloween season, or as I like to call it, pumpkin spice latte. Which, if you're a realtor, you're probably not listening to this because you're in hibernation. Because for some reason, when pumpkin spice latte comes out, all realtors go to sleep, which I love because my team will make so much money between now and the end of December. Because for whatever reason, realtors go to sleep. I don't know what it is, but. So I'm at Disney this weekend for the trick-or-treat fest there. And I look up as I'm walking around and I see a guy comes walking towards me and he's dressed like Fidel Castro. and I thought, no, he can't be Fidel Castro. And I looked at him and I kind of gave him the head bob and I was like, Fidel? And he's like, hey. And I'm like, oh man.
Spooky.
And as somebody, I am Floridian by birth. I grew up in the great state of Florida and lived there for many, many years. And I thought to myself, this guy would probably get his ass kicked in Miami dressed like that.
For sure.
He probably would. So it got me thinking, where is the line of offensive when it comes to Halloween costumes? And if you're planning to dress for Halloween, like how far can you push it and still be maybe okay, but not be okay? Because let's face it, in this day and age, you trying to crack a joke at a Halloween costume today, tomorrow, you're no longer working at Sears.
Yeah.
Can I go on absolute record right now and say, if you are in 2021 and there was a realtor that did this last year, a realtor in our community, dressed up in blackface as Mr. King. And
you can't.
I just remember looking at it going, maybe in the 70s, there was a point where we didn't have the internet and you didn't live under a rock, where you didn't realize why you don't do certain things. And then the 80s, you started going, ooh, then Ted Danson did it.
Yeah.
With Whoopi Goldberg. At that was the final time.
That was it.
That you had.
Blackface was done right there with that.
Pass. Like John Gruden's use of the term, whatever.
Well,
there was a time where you could plausibly be like, oh, I didn't know that meant that.
Yeah.
That time is over.
That time is gone. Well, let's talk about that. So that's a great place to start. Because as we sit here, three white guys, even though Colt does identify as Hispanic.
Do that so I can't get canceled.
As we sit,
if anybody tries to cancel, I'm
as we sit here and
El
Colte, as we sit here, let's start with that. Can a white person dress up as an African-American known person as long as they don't do blackface makeup?
Well, there is always running the risk of appropriation. But here's the thing.
No, but it's a costume.
Yeah. Like, for example, who would you say?
Okay, I'll give you an exact thing. So I don't know if you guys know this or anybody may have not known this, but I have one of the joys of my life. I have many, but one of the joys of my life is ruining people's dress-up parties when they have a dress up, like one of those murder mystery things. When you get invited to the murder mystery party, one of the joys of my life is ruining those parties. So I will quite simply, if you invite me, it's on like Robotron. And I promise you, the majority of the people, I like to say, will have fun if I go, but the host or more importantly, the hostess will. I'm wanted. One of my friends, if you got a wife that thinks this is a good idea, she ain't gonna let you hang out with me after this party. Right. So anyway, recently,
you'll go to an 80s party in 1980s or 1880s.
1880s. Yes, I could go 1880s. That's a good move. Oh, good. Move. More importantly, I'd probably just go as like a super old man in my 80s with like fake balls hanging out of my shorts, but pretty much where I'd go with that. But instead, that's where I immediately go.
The murder mystery.
Yeah, just to make it the murder mystery party. So I get invited to a murder mystery party, and I'm supposed to go as, I just read the invitation, and it says, Joe Jackson, baseball player who has amnesia, doesn't remember where he is. So I just pretend that I never read past Joe Jackson. Like that's all I saw. And I went as 1970s, not blackface, just I had the cabbie hat on. I had a big silk scarf. I had like a full-on disco-looking shirt that was denim, and I had like I drew the sideburns on like this and the little paper-thin mustache, right, and a little goatee.
Just the mean look.
The mean look just made me mean. And all I did, I went as Michael Jackson's father, Joe Jackson, and all I did was walk around this party and bitch to anybody that would listen, for as long as they would listen, how Tito don't practice.
Tito does not practice.
Tito don't practice. It's just, and I just would not let it go to the point where people were on the verge of hyper angry at me for this. It was, but
I would find that just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Right. But the problem is people don't have personalities.
The question is now. I mean, now. Can I dress as Joe Jackson?
No.
Yes.
I didn't. There was no afro. There was no blackface. I didn't do anything. Yeah, it was the essence of the man himself.
You were told. First off, here's where you get a pass.
Okay.
You were told to dress up as Joe Jackson. Now, not shoeless Joe Jackson, the baseball legend. Whatever.
Yeah.
You were told Joe Jackson. If someone said to me, come as a bottle of Tito's or something, maybe I would dress up as Michael Jackson's brother and whatever. There's a way to be funny. It's a play on word.
Right.
That is without.
Okay, but also
I think you get a very clear pass.
Okay, let's say your son, or Colt's son, plays basketball. My son. What do you want to go as for Halloween? I want to go as LeBron James.
Yeah, but you can wear a LeBron James jersey. Yeah, no.
Okay, that's okay.
Totally agree.
Okay, that's okay.
I think that one. I think I spoke for the woke left here. Where that is completely fine to emulate, right?
To emulate in
without
a positive
obviously taking on.
Okay,
somebody probably takes.
All right, so hang on. Okay, so hang on. So now I'm gonna throw a double whammy at you now. Mm-hmm. All right, so now it's okay to impersonate a public figure as long as it's done in a positive way. Mm-hmm. What if it is a public figure that most people don't like and you do it a negative way? For example, can I go dressed as OJ with a bloody glove?
Yes.
How would you emulate OJ?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: if you start putting on like an afro or something, if you start putting on things like
that's the line.
I think that's the line is where you start taking on sort of cultural. I don't know, like
see, this is why I'm fascinated by this topic.
But here's the thing: there is no actual line. This is the thing about so first off, there is this thing that I hear, and I'm not going to make it political, but there is a constituent in this country that doesn't want people to have to face the consequences of their shitty words. Yes. Right? There are things that happen. I've had people come up to me because they think I'm a white guy. Like I'm gonna.
Okay, now I'm confused. Now I'm confused. So is there more to that? Because you're just talking about white guy. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were a white guy. I'm not gonna lie.
I've had white people come up to me and say some nasty shit like that. I am completely abhorrent. Like, it's completely abhorrent stuff, and they think that I'm gonna be like
on board because you're white.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, wait, why the fuck would you think you can say that to me?
This guy gets it. No, I don't get it.
I've had people.
I'm not that. Whoa. I know it exists. Yep. Right. We want to deny that certain things exist. So when people have shitty words that come out of their stupid mouths, you sometimes have to own it. Okay, and you have to sometimes own if you were too dumb to realize that not everybody's going to think the same way or take jokes or whatever, use public emails, work emails. Like that girl who said, I'm going to Africa, I hope I don't get AIDS. Haha, just kidding, I'm white. She thought she was being funny or whatever, but that is
wasn't.
So stupid.
Ignorant.
Like,
People are
just
ignorant.
Well, we're gonna get to the context. We're gonna get to the context of your own words. I want to stay on Halloween right now because there's a lot of people right now could be listening to this on a headphone, could be at Walmart trying to decide what to be. I don't know. I'm trying to be helpful.
So
trying
perfect.
to bring value.
So, but to my point is this: there is no actual line, but people always want to complain that
there's a line.
No,
I know what you're
all right,
saying.
let's make it easy.
Everybody's got their line. There's no real line. There's no real like.
We can all agree that blackface is an objective line.
Okay, that's
but
a
you
line.
know what?
That's a line.
But
we can't all agree that. There's people that still argue to this day that it's okay, which is crazy.
But I think
I don't think anybody with a brain. Okay.
80-90% of people.
Yeah, let's clarify. We're looking for herd opinion here. 80%. I'm not looking for the fringe ends.
Yeah, because it's the fringe ends believe all kinds of.
We're looking for the middle.
I flew over the North Pole this week. I literally saw it. So if you want to be a flat earther,
we saw the North Pole. We saw the curvature
of the North Pole. You goof.
We saw it.
But the line though, in terms of taste, right? Is it bad to be a sexy nun? Well, yeah, a really religious Catholic person might find it offensive. But then again, who cares? There is that part in Halloween costumes too, right? Unless it's a work function, unless you're not willing to have that photo of you taken and shared, right?
I think one of the few jokes that I can ever remember Carlos Mencia saying that I thought was funny.
That was his, or
no, Carlos Mencia when he was like, "Look, let's call a spade. Halloween is International Dress Like a Whore Day."
Yeah.
It's what it really is. I'm going to be a sexy veterinarian.
Don't take this from us.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's talk about world leaders. Let's find out. Let's find a line there. I think we can all agree Hitler off limits.
But see, but a lot of people do like a really funny Hitler where it's Hitler in drag, right? So you're making.
If you're making fun of it,
you're making fun of it. You can't just go be Hitler. Harry,
paid the price for that.
He paid the price for it, right?
For that.
Because it's like if you understand what Nazis actually did. Everybody talks about Nazis nowadays. People don't realize
how terrible it was.
What actually happened.
Yeah.
Go read some history. Go look at the pile of bodies. Yeah. That's one of those things you go, I can see why this is maybe not as funny as.
Yeah.
But if you're Hitler and you dress up like he's a closet drag queen, right?
Like the Jojo Rabbit.
The Jojo Rabbit, right?
I still think you don't look.
I'm not doing
it. No.
I was like, I can't wait to see Chris's.
I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any rendition of Hitler you're going to get away with. I think that is beyond the line in today's world. I think Hitler's there. So let's move the line a little further.
Okay.
Let's move down a little further.
This is a great little segment.
Yeah, we'll move down a little further.
I'm just saying quiet.
Let's go with a. Obviously, we talked about Fidel Castro.
So you thought Fidel?
Where are you with Castro?
So Castro, I think that one is just sort of. I wouldn't even think about it. I would say, it's just a goofy. People wear Che Guevara T-shirts.
Well, which is just asinine.
But people are also ignorant. People are so ignorant, and they're not to date of what really happened. Like you say, you go down to Miami, you're getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, dressed like Fidel Castro. That's a problem.
Well, but I mean, talk about something that scares them. It's Halloween, right? You can have an axe.
The thoughts and feelings of Chris Connell do not reflect that.
You want to talk about somebody that you can say, "Oh, that scares me."
Okay, what about
words,
all right? What about let's talk about Russian leaders. I mean, can you get away with Stalin?
You know what's funny is you can, and that's a funny, weird thing about who writes the history books, right? Because Russia, I'm about to say something real unpopular. Russia is a real big reason why that World War II was won. Real big reason, like real big.
Right.
And so when people talk about Stalin, they don't realize that he had committed far more atrocities objectively than Adolf Hitler ever did.
Oh, sure.
Right.
It's not an apology for anybody who commits the most murder, but
just
Stalin murdered.
Can you get away with Stalin?
I think you could.
See, I don't think you can.
I think you can. I don't think people, because Stalin's not a part of the cultural, cultural fabric as much as Hitler. Because everything that anyone does that is bad, you're now Hitler.
That's a good point. Nobody says you're Stalin.
You're a Stalin here.
Okay, let's talk about what about the North Korea guy?
Yeah, you can go as
totally him. You could
totally
just because you're making fun of how he looks.
He's such an absurd looking little man.
But he's a great golfer though. I hear.
18 hole in ones, and he's never taken a shit. That's pretty impressive.
Ever.
He
should go to Egypt.
Yeah, he'll definitely.
Agree with that. But yeah, that can be made fun of because it's absurd. He's absurd. His haircut's absurd.
Yeah.
He's walking absurdity. The hermit kingdom is absurdity that people think, oh, this fat little dork is somehow impressive. whatsoever.
Okay.
He's literally the least impressive thing I've ever seen. And yes, his haircut is on the table for pure mockery.
Okay. So let's say this. Okay. Let's say that you go and you dress as, you have the box of cornflakes on you and you have a knife and you're a serial killer.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what if you had a school bus and a gun and you're a school shooter? Is that okay or is that not? Yeah.
Ooh.
See, why is that different? Why is that different?
Well, because little children being massacred is never.
Who says the serial killer is not killing kids? What's the difference?
Again, I would laugh at stuff because I don't have sensitivities about a lot of things.
But I'm saying, what's going to get you thrown out of the old Halloween?
There's just like a couple of triggered things, right? Where a lot of people are going to find that funny, a lot of people aren't. Here's the thing: you are probably able to go do that. Like school shooting, people just look at you like an asshole.
No, I don't think you can do that.
No, I think it just goes to what people have been trained in their life to accept, right? Which serial killer we've all trained to accept is something that's scary, but they don't realize serial killers are raping kids and doing all that, right? So I don't think they just look at the scary movie. So I think a lot of it's what's trained in somebody's mind as what's offensive or not. When I'm like, Chris, I can watch some stuff that people say some really bad things, and I can find the humor in it and be shocked. But right now you gotta be careful on anything you say or do. Like this podcast scares me. I get anxiety every time we do it. Like I'm going to get canceled for saying something that I find absurd and funny.
Steer 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11.
Stick with your 9/11. Yeah. No, because we're not. Look, this is a serious conversation. I mean, it's funny at some points, but where
people lose their jobs every year.
Yeah, the goalpost keeps moving, and I'm just trying to figure out where we currently are and what you can do.
I think I don't know that a lot of things are off the table. I think, like you said, if it doesn't make fun of protected groups in a way that people can call punching down or whatever, if it's not touching protected groups, you're fine. Okay. Now, in protected groups, like I said, you can dress up as a woman, as a slutty woman, right? Quote unquote. You see those costume stores that actually will say like the bad knockoff ones will be like slutty nurse.
I think you just.
Wouldn't it be funny if the costume was just like a normal nurse's outfit that said like Kim, because at one point they knew Kim and she was a little risque. Just throw the Kim name down.
I think that I think you can't play into stereotypes anymore, right? Like I think you can't do any of that stuff. I think you can be slutty, whatever. I think you can be generic, whatever, but you got to be careful, especially with protected classes or anything like that. But people literally lose their jobs. There's two things that people lose their jobs over that are just stupid. Halloween being a little crazy and Christmas parties being too drunk, right? Like those are people lose jobs all the time.
Social media accounts.
Yeah.
But what's funny? You bring that up, John, because you can't dress as Muhammad, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can.
You can have that priest costume with a kid blowing you.
Yeah. And people are okay with
Why is that not over the line?
I mean, because in all fairness, that's like nobody has any sympathy for the Catholic Church after what they've done.
Yeah, that's true.
So you don't get a pass anymore. You can make fun of that. It's on the table for ridicule because they had known child molesters and were hiding it, right? So that is safe. But Muhammad, right, if you were dressed up with like a whatever, I mean, other than there being a cultural issue, but if you had a tag, you just walked around Muhammad and you were dressed up like in robes and people would freak out.
Yeah, they would.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you are an insensitive piece of shit. I'm like, who is offended? Nobody would be, right? Because not a lot of practicing, Muslims in the city specifically. I don't even know if there's a mosque here. I think there might be a very small one.
No, there has to be.
There's a very small one. But it's not a large
Jones.
population, right, of practicing. So it's not something that you would think would be super offensive. But other people would know that is going to be offensive if somebody's, you know what I mean? It's
like if somebody
do
saw
you guys,
if
I was sitting there last night and I didn't have power. When you don't have power and your phone dies, you could just start thinking of stuff, right? But no, I just started thinking
top five. Okay, Colt, top 5 things you think of in the dark.
First off, I was thinking how crazy it'd be to be landing in these winds. It was crazy windy. There had to be 70-mile-an-hour gusts.
Yeah, it was.
But then I thought we have become so sensitive I mean, every year you think, okay, we can't become more sensitive as a society. And every year it gets more and more. And you're just like, this has got to stop, right? Like, it's got to go back to somewhat.
Well, everything's a pendulum in life and society and what's acceptable. But here's the thing. I watch Netflix specials. Like, go back to the Dave Chappelle special. Mm-hmm. He was saying some things in that special. One was, it had to do about, it was like a meta approach about how his relationship with the trans community has been in his comedy. He's got a reputation for saying things that are whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he really leans into it. So much so that I was watching it, and some things I found funny just because I find things funny generally. There's a lot of humor and tragedy. One was about his trans friend who had killed herself, that he had brought up on stage, and about she defended him publicly all the time because she's like, he's not a critic of trans, he's a comedian, and he just talks shit about it.
He's doing his job.
But even in that special, though, I wanted to see him being like post. So there's things, right? Like there's postmodernism. So the post-offense culture. He's going to be so offensive that it actually kind of brings it back to the middle or whatever. But even in that special, there were some things I'm like, geez, man, this is kind of poor taste because it's not really funny. It just kind of doesn't sound right. Mm-hmm. And there is a line where you go, yeah, I mean, I've probably grown in things. There's words I've said on the playground that, if you heard those words, talking about,
Right. Well, you grow up and you understand.
Things change and things kind of progress. But if you listen to a lot of comedy specials of Colt, I don't think that the line has changed. I just think that people are finding themselves in the niche they want to be. I think that content's still there.
Oh, no, I think the line's changed. I think these guys would love to be doing stuff. But also, sometimes it's good that change, right? Like, sure. I watch a Dean Martin roast all the time, and, man, some of that stuff was real racist and not funny. Right? Like
everything Dean Martin ever said to Sammy Davis Jr. was racist.
Like, you sit there and you're like, again, I can find funny in everything. You watch a lot of that and you're like, God, man, that's not even funny anymore. But or never
race
was.
Is a weird one too, because there is things about race that I find hilarious. Like I hope we don't get to a point where it's off limits, because that shit's funny. Like if your black friends are making fun of you for being a stupid white person, it's like hilarious and you laugh together.
I agree.
And then you'd be like, hey, they're amongst friends, that's a great time.
Yep.
Because guys can shit on each other and it's love.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're with your buddies, you're harassing each other. You're right. It is.
You take shots at people, but if somebody else did it,
you go fight. Yeah, you'd all go fight them. But
so I don't want things to be totally off the table. I just like when people get clever about how they do things, right?
Yeah.
Like, Chappelle leans into race real hard. And I find it funny because he does it in a way that I find funny. And
like even at the end when he's like, you don't realize I'm not against you. I'm against white people, right? Like, like I'm sitting there laughing. I'm like, that was hilarious. Like, I don't, and I was with you. I was watching, and some of it I was like, not so much. You're missing the boat. But I just feel like we've gotten so sensitive as a community. But again, then you get some stupid stuff like the Raiders, John Gruden's email.
Makes you go, wow,
now maybe there is, right?
Of course, big news here in Las Vegas. John Gruden out as Raiders head coach. Chucky, Super Bowl winning, Monday Night Football, hallmark, cornerstone of the game, if you will, out at the Raiders for obviously the emails that he wrote 10 years ago. So the question becomes with that, you look at a situation where and the stuff he wrote was offensive. There's no question.
Yep. Yeah. And some of it was 3 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No.
And sorry to cut you off real quick. You guys, this goes back to what we talked about 2 episodes ago. Like, do not put stuff in emails that you would not want read out loud, right? Like
in a courtroom.
Not even that, in front of your locker room. Like some of this stuff, like, that's your people. Like, that is your team.
Everything you do in business, write it down.
Yep.
Everything about a deal, about an agreement, about a transaction, always put that in email.
Well, that brings
social
a great
commentary,
point.
Conversations with your buddies,
never
email.
That's one of my best pieces of advice I always give everybody is you want to cut through and clarify everything. Yep. And if you want to save yourself a lot of trouble in sales and business and everything else, is eliminate that eliminate that situation where your client says, I don't remember you saying that, or you didn't say this. And this is how you do that is every single time you have a conversation with a client that involves a deal point, involves anything that's a hinge within that transaction, send them a follow-up email and just say, hey, Bob, just following up with the conversation we just had. This is what we discussed. This is our course of action. This is what we're doing. And then if later at some point, if they say, well, you didn't say that, or I didn't say that, you go back to your email. You can refer back to it, and it diffuses the situation instantaneously. Because what a lot of people will do is their clients will forget or misremember or whatever you want to say it, something that happened or they said or you were supposed to execute on or a deal point, and that person will then go back and say, well, I don't remember saying that, and then they start fighting with their client. And I always tell people, if you win an argument with your client, the prize is losing a client.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is. So
that's in what is that? Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Was it?
You've never won an argument in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
So what are you talking about? I mean, I have because I go to court, and that's a different thing.
Right.
But you've never won an argument with a friend. Because even if it's a friend, you still kind of hurt their feelings.
Yeah, they walk away feeling belittled.
Yeah. So no, but you don't win. There's no winning.
Yeah.
Unless
you tell them their kids are fat. And
and
they turn that around. Hey, you dress like Hitler. You got a fat kid. That's what you can't do.
So
that.
Cole, where do you think the line is? I want to know.
Colt's line.
What's the line on what's the furthest you would go personally
in a costume?
In a Halloween costume.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, unpopular opinion. I don't love Halloween like everybody else in Vegas.
Of course he doesn't love Halloween.
I'm not a candy guy.
Of course you're not.
But you are one of those guys that's likes candy corn.
Oh God, no. Top 5 worst candies. But do you know what? Every time
Top 5 worst candy, Colt. What is it?
Hold on. You gotta give
stop. Top 5
if
worst
I
candy.
have to go as to a party that you have to be dressed up on, you know what my go-to is? A Superman shirt I have. I wear black suit with the Superman. I go as Clark Kent. Every time. I'm the lamest Halloween guy. But those candy corns, God, they're horrible. Is it amazing that they can still sell those in 2021? I mean, honestly.
Can we get a cancel culture against candy corn?
If you like it, let me know.
It is the Spirit
You know what's the
Airlines
most
of candy.
underrated candy? Whatchamacallits.
I love the whatchamacallit. I agree with you, sir.
Great candy.
I agree with you, sir.
But no, I'm somebody that people come up to me all the time and hey, why don't you ever get your teeth fixed, right? Like, I don't know, because I like it. I don't get offended by shit. No. Like, you could make fun of me. You could do whatever. I always tell people you can make fun of somebody for anything other than something they're born with.
Yeah, because that's what I tell them. Inalienable characteristics will hurt.
Yep.
If you talk to a guy who's short, that's always a sting. Because what can you do about it?
Yeah.
Because if you're fat, you can get in shape.
Yep.
If you're whatever, you can get you can get contact lenses, whatever it is.
I could fix my teeth tomorrow if I want to.
But there's things that if you can't change them, that's always gonna. And I don't care if they say they're cool with it.
They're not cool.
You hear a little guy saying, I need a step stool. Yeah. That's total defense mechanism. That is a survival technique learned.
Yep. Yeah. But other than that, I think a lot of things are fair game still. I mean, again, I find humor in a lot of stuff. And that probably some stuff that I shouldn't. Like, I'll be sitting there somewhere and I'll figure out something. And
what was your best Halloween costume of all time?
My mom made them. We didn't have the best
she
money,
took a sheet,
right?
put over his head.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown Ghost.
No, she made me like a NASA thing, spray painted it. I think I was high the whole night, so it was pretty Canada, cool.
So I always just put on a balaclava and was a ninja. Because it was like freezing up by October 30th. So
I love the Tell Me About My Ninja Disguise T-shirts. I love that thing. It's great. We put it up. Now the best one I ever had personally. This is maybe 10 years ago now. I'm just Kenny Powers.
Nice.
And dude, and I had it down. It was like the black ecstasy outfit. And my wife was like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Nobody's going to know who you are.
Everybody knew.
Dude, everybody knew.
Don't you love people? Like, I feel like you should be able to dress up once a month to just kind of see if people get you. You know who your real friends. At that point, people that were like, hell yeah, you know what, we could be friends. It'd be an easy way to figure out who's friends and not. Like, if people are offended by it or don't get it, No, it's all right.
You're
Keep
like
moving.
Mimi. You're
We're
like
not going to
Mimi.
be friends. So,
But we all do come from an era though where you had to like memorize things because we didn't have the internet and memes.
yeah.
So we had to memorize things like movies and music,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To like, you know,
Oh, yeah.
do something, to have something to talk shit about your buddies
Yeah,
with.
yeah, no, but memes, man, how funny is that?
How
The
funny is
only
that?
good thing about the internet, I can get lost
memes.
in memes.
Well, let's take a quick break, guys. We'll be back from the break. When we come back, we're going to talk about if you've been listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, here after hearing the John Gruden news, if you're thinking to yourself, oh shit, I probably did something stupid maybe 10 years ago. Let's talk about how to get a plan for getting ahead of that to maybe minimize that damage if that's something that you actually did. Back in a minute. Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com, where we'll share any links that things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout.